Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:30 PM. Roll call, William Johnston. Here. Thomas Graffinino. Here. Lynn Colligan.
Here.
Lisa Kreckler.
Here.
And Phil DiOrio is here. We also have present Stephen Kiley, Town Attorney. First order of business is to review and approve the March 15th, 2023 minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minute?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have one application tonight to hear. That's 5 Grand Avenue, Harvey. Christina, will you read the notice?
A hearing on the application of Drew J. Harvey, owner of 5 Grand Avenue, Shelter Island Heights, New York, which is located in the B zoning district and is more specifically described on Suffolk County Tax Map 700-5-5-20.1. The applicant is seeking variances from Shelter Island Town Code Section 133-8 B5A for the following relief: to hold a 14.6 foot front yard setback from the western front lot line where 30 is required, with two-story dwelling. Hold a 17.5 foot front yard setback from the eastern front property line where 30 is required for the proposed covered porch, and to hold 17.9 feet front yard setback from the western front property line where 30 is required for a proposed garage. The correspondence was received from, in support from Jason Penny, Scott Murphy, Kathy Heinzelman. She recommended, she's concerned about the parking. Then the correspondence was received from Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Corporation. They, in general, support the application. However, they wish to amend the CNRs on the deed. There should be no further expansion of accessory living structures, and no basement, garage, or loft should be converted into habitable space. Basement or garage should not be used for retail. All rentals should be no less than 1 year. Drainage shall be designed. If steps are required, there shall be a licensing agreement. COCO roads and the alley should be kept clear at all times and must be repaired if damaged. Their request to include Heights construction and renovation in the resolution, and all construction materials and equipment should be stored on 5 Grand Avenue in a related version.
Okay. Who is going to present? Brought your own easel.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive.
Ready to go. Does anybody need a printout?
You may want to back it up so other people can see that. Like that, okay? Well, no, then these.
We've seen it.
You're fine, okay.
Stephen, but it's more important that they see.
You can give them a copy of that.
Now you're good.
If anyone needs
Current copy.
a copy, they can.
Dave Harvey, D&D Harvey Architects, 21 Cove Road, Sag Harbor, or 5 Grand Avenue. Applicant Drew Harvey, the owner. Basically, what we're here to ask the board for is a area variance because of the pre-existing non-conforming size of the lot, which then dictates a few setbacks. So we believe there's been kind of an added hardship due to the fact that it's basically now has 3 fronts, which causes, a very small building envelope. What we've done is it's a 1,760 square foot building with a detached garage, and it's sited to address the street, has a covered porch to again address the street, and it's open to the village green or the corner. So we've kind of, pushed the building to one side to create more open space on the property. Basically, if you have any other questions, the answer, and Drew can speak to any other questions.
Yes. I guess what, you guys present and if that's all you want to say at this point, then we'll wait. I'm sure going to have a couple other people speak and then there might be some points that you want to address.
Mr. Chairman, I just have some questions regarding clarification.
Okay.
So you're looking for a primary dwelling with an accessory apartment?
Correct.
Why didn't you, so it's going to be owner occupied?
Yes.
Okay. Because there is an option in the B zone to do a two-family dwelling by a special permit. But that's from the town board if you wanted to go that route, and it wouldn't have to be owner occupied, and it could be two separate dwelling units.
I think we explored that, and at the time, we were somewhat told that primary structure with an accessory apartment more acceptable or more willing to be accepted. We just have the intention, or Drew has the intention of its primary dwelling with basically an affordable apartment to rent. That's the underlying thing. Originally, we were thinking of mixed use and all of that, but that's changed and we're just not interested in that. So it's basically a primary residence with an accessory apartment.
Okay, and I got owner occupied with, okay.
Stephen, let me ask you a question about that then. Well, if that would need some sort of a variance from us.
No, a town board special permit.
No, I'm not talking about the two-family house. I'm
Okay.
talking about the primary and accessory. Does that require anything from us?
No, as long as it's owner occupied.
Okay. And I was just curious why you got away from, like business on the first floor and an apartment on the second floor. Just curious.
We were advised that the use variance was not only difficult, but could be unprecedented at this time. And we're also familiar with other hamlets, and a lot of hamlets are struggling with this idea of commercial with accessory apartments above, even though that's what most of the pre-existing conditions are. So, in the intent to, build Drew's building and have him use it, we weren't that strong for the commercial use.
Okay.
We would like to do that and, could apply for a use variance, but this time we're happy with.
So from my reading of the code, and I could be wrong on this, Stephen, you want me to stay away from this or what?
We'll talk about it offline.
Just,
They're not pursuing that right now.
right, okay. We'll stay away from that for now. If you.
Yeah, basically Drew's intention is to build a modest house in keeping with the streetscape. And,
The intention was to build a mixed-use building, because I felt that's what the Heights could most benefit from. And we went through multiple iterations of this building and the uses. We're ultimately proposing primary residence with an accessory apartment. And if there is a question of use in the future, that would need to be addressed. And our goal right now is to get this building up, get it up well. And the design hasn't really changed from what our initial intention of the desired look has been since the beginning. So that's why we're here proposing the building in this way tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
just any other questions or?
Not right now. Does anyone else wish to come up and speak?
Good evening, Lori Beard Raymond. I'm here representing the Shelter Island Heights Property Owners Association as their manager. And we sent a letter, which Christina was kind enough to paraphrase earlier. The Heights, both the Property and Roads Committee and the Architectural Committee support this project. And the reason we're supporting it is because it's an undeveloped parcel. We need more year-round affordable housing. And the applicant has made a number of design changes based on POC's suggestions from both those committees, which was extremely helpful and collaborative in working with us. There is a valid restriction on the deed that only allows for a single-family dwelling. So that deed would need to be amended with POC's agreement. We did list a number of things that we had requested for resolutions. And since Christina read them, I won't go over them again. In the essence of repeating what was already said, we are expecting the firehouse to be under renovation at the same time of this project. So how those construction materials and construction vehicles and the sequencing of the work is an important aspect for keeping the roads and the alleys clear during these construction terms. The other thing that we did have 3 letters of support, which I did send in. Those were also read into the record. And that's really it. I mean, PROC does, just to reiterate that we do want to support this project because we think it is a good project and it's reasonable for what they've requested. The only thing I would question is, and this may be directed at Stephen, 13317, where an accessory apartment is allowed to be used within a primary dwelling. In addition to owner occupancy, it also states that the lot must be of 75% of the bulk of the size for that particular zone. In this case, it's not. So I would just encourage you to look at 13317 and in the sake of the causing complications where the applicant would have to come back a second time or have additional hearings, that all those things be looked at and captured at this time to avoid further delays. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right. Anyone else care to weigh in here? Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Okay, let's go.
This last one we got in front of us, they don't have on the garage, they don't say 1 story only. It's not written on it. They had more parking in one other plan, showed the parking was more closer to the house. They like cut out a space. I think should be put back in. Because some people's got 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, and also because if people have a pickup, they're more than 17.9. They're about 20 feet long. And they'll be, the tail end of the vehicle possibly in the common driveway. So I think they need to have those spot and make sure it's at least 20 foot.
So how many spots are you looking for there?
In the plan currently, there's 4 exterior spots, 2 spots in the garage.
Yeah, I think you gotta have at least another one past the garage, because you got the parking right in front of the garage. What happens if somebody's got a vehicle in the garage and somebody's parked in front of it? You gotta go hunt for the person to get your vehicle out. So I think you gotta have a little more parking closer to the house where maybe you can leave the garage doors open.
Well, it's no longer a commercial building, so therefore we don't have to have that much.
All right, what about a tenant's got a boat? Small boat, 3 trailers to the water.
We reduced the parking when the building went from being a mixed-use commercial building with 2 apartments above, which dictated 9 spaces, to a primary dwelling with 1 accessory apartment, which dictates floor space.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, it does comply. We are amenable to making more driveway. We just assumed that that was less appropriate, less desirable. But we can.
What about if the person has two vehicles?
We could add parking.
I think you should, because people sometimes have people over to visit them. And I think you need at least one more lot to cover that. I don't know if I'm the only one thinking about that, but that's my opinion.
Okay, consider it.
Anyone else with questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Lori raised a good point. So 133-17 AD states that the lot shall conform with area and bulk regulation zoning district within which it is located, except that an accessory apartment may be sited on a legal non-conforming lot, which this is, which contains no less than 75% of the district's lot area requirement. So I'd like to ask the applicant to verbally make that request for an area variance from section 133-17 AD.
Yes, I think I stated before, we are requesting an area variance, but to specifically say what section of the code we do.
Yeah, because this one wasn't in the notice of disapproval.
Oh, that's fine.
So just make it verbally that you want that taken care of.
We would like that to be taken care of. Yes.
Thank you. All right, and then I guess I have maybe a couple questions for Lori, and what the Heights is sort of looking for. So the deed carries a restriction, which I guess was disregarded when May Neville built her boarding house, and now it's somehow again reared its, I don't want to say ugly head, but reared its head to show itself again. And my understanding here is that the Heights is willing to change this deed restriction if certain conditions are met. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I personally would prefer that this stuff is dealt between the Heights and the property owners directly, as opposed to making this part of our thing. Because you two are the two parties involved here. And, I have a feeling you'll find, what should I say? I hope a welcome response by the applicants. That's, again, that's up to you. The ZBA is not the enforcement body for zoning, for deed restrictions, for those types of things. But certainly we are here to try to make things work between both parties. And I do actually really appreciate that the Heights has come out in favor of this project. Does anybody have any questions for Lori? I'm sorry if I got you to step up there, Lori.
I don't know.
And I assume the applicants, you'd be fine with things like keeping your building materials, your construction vehicles and that kind of thing on the property during the process, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I have one recommendation. Have you thought of it to build a house first before you build a garage? That way it gives you more room to store your material and all that?
Build a larger house instead of a garage?
No.
No. Just build the house first, and then build your garage last. That gives you more working space on the property for material, vehicles and stuff like that. Did you take that in consideration?
So we've been architects and construction managers for 30 years.
Can you just please come step a little closer because the microphone will not get you? Thank you.
Since you've got a small lot, I'm just saying as a.
Yeah, so D&D Harvey Architects is architects and construction managers. We're fully aware of site, enforcement staging, all of that. We actually feel the garage is a better place to store our materials inside, finishes and construction. And we'll do everything we can, and we will even stay off of the alleyway. We're also planning on keeping most of we're gonna keep the large spruce trees, the trees out front. So it'll be, silk fenced, hay bale, very carefully maintained. And it's a small building, so we're only gonna be bringing stuff in almost probably 3-4 days worth of materials. We're not gonna be loading that site.
Okay, I just.
It's a good, we know it's a tight site.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, I think I'm going to recommend that we're going to close the hearing and leave it open for written correspondence. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, yes?
We need a motion.
Yeah, we will. Just wanted to suggest it before I ask for a motion. So can I have a motion to close the hearing and then leave it open to written correspondence to be submitted up until June 14th? And then we'll discuss this at our work session on June 21st.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll do a roll call on this. William Johnson?
Yes.
Thomas Graffinino?
Yes.
Lynn Colligan?
Yes.
Lisa Kreckler?
Yes.
And Phil DeOrio, I vote yes. All right, folks, that's the end of our regular meeting. We're going to executive session at this point.
You just gotta give you the subject.
Okay, for pending litigation.
Discuss.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want one? I got one.